Jay North will forever be remembered as the gap-toothed, slingshot-wielding Dennis Mitchell, the pint-sized whirlwind who charmed America in the early days of television. While he made millions laugh in Dennis the Menace, his childhood told a different story, one shaped by long hours, strict guardianship, and the weight of sudden fame. Jay Waverly North Jr. was born on August 3, 1951, in Hollywood, California. His parents divorced when he was still a young boy, and his mother, Dorothy North, took on the responsibility of raising him alone. She worked as a secretary at the American Federation of Television and Radio Artists, which gave her access to the entertainment world and opened a door for her son. Jay showed early promise and was comfortable in front of the camera. He began appearing on local television shows like 77 Sunset Strip and The Red Skelton Hour, where his charm stood out. His mother supported his ambitions and guided him through the early steps of his career while also managing the practical side of working in the business. Jay's big break came when he was just 6 years old. In 1959, he was cast as Dennis Mitchell in the television version of Dennis the Menace, based on Hank Ketcham's popular comic strip. The show aired on CBS and quickly became a family favorite, thanks to Jay's spot-on portrayal of the curious, energetic, and often misunderstood boy next door by his neighbor, Mr. Wilson, played by Joseph Kearns. He played Dennis for 4 seasons, from 1959 to 1963, during which time he became one of the most recognizable child actors in America. In addition to the series, he appeared in multiple commercials as Dennis for the show's sponsors and guest appearances on other television shows and films. Unlike some parents who live off their child's income, Jay's mother continued to work for AFTRA and hired a business manager to invest his earnings for him. However, since she was working full-time, she put him under the care of his aunt and uncle, who served as his on-set guardians. According to Jay, they were strict and sometimes harsh, abusing him if he made a mistake and not allowing him to socialize with other cast members or children his age. He later said he didn't feel like he had a real childhood, often feeling isolated and under constant pressure to perform. Back then, they didn't have the same child labor laws we have today. Jay was overworked, abused, and miserable. So, as he began to age out of the character, and along with the death of Joseph Kearns in 1962, the show was canceled after the 4th season. After Dennis the Menace ended, Jay struggled to break free from the shadow of Dennis. He took roles in films like Zebra in the Kitchen and made various TV appearances. He starred in the 1966 feature film Maya and the TV series of the same name, which only lasted 1 season. He also did voice work, most notably as Bam Bam in The Pebbles and Bam Bam Show opposite Sally Struthers as Pebbles. As many child stars over their years have experienced, the industry had trouble seeing him as anything other than the little boy with the slingshot as he reached his early 20s. Jay struggled not only to find work, but also to accept the realities of life, wondering why the public no longer cared for him or even how to interact with normal people outside of the industry. In 1974, North appeared in his last starring role in the R-rated coming-of-age suspense thriller, The Teacher. Jay eventually left Hollywood behind. In 1977, he joined the Navy, hoping to find a sense of purpose outside the entertainment industry. Unfortunately, that sense of purpose didn't happen, as he would often receive harsh treatment from his shipmates, who made fun of him as a former child star. He left the Navy only 2 years later, in 1979. After the Navy, he attempted to return to acting, making a small appearance in Scout's Honor and the Soap General Hospital. However, unable to find work, Jay decided to step away from the public eye. Thankfully, due to the wise decision by his mother to have his Dennis the Menace money properly managed, Jay never had any difficult financial struggles. Jay married his 3rd wife, Cindy Hackney, in 1993, and the two moved to Florida, where they chose a life far removed from Hollywood. He became a stepfather to her 3 daughters. After moving to Florida, North became a correctional officer for the Florida Department of Corrections. Coincidentally, 1993 was the release of the feature film Dennis the Menace, which resulted in him receiving requests for interviews, providing him a platform to discuss the abuse he had experienced as a child and to speak out on behalf of other child stars. In the 1990s, after hearing about the death of former child star Rusty Hamer by suicide, North began to speak openly about the emotional toll of child stardom. He became an advocate for the protection and mental well-being of young performers, sharing his own story as a cautionary tale and a call for reform. North spent his later years advocating for child stars, making public appearances and attending memorabilia shows. He would also do occasional cameos, such as in Dickie Roberts, former child star, and voicing himself in an episode of The Simpsons. North died at his home in Lake Butler, Florida, from cancer on April 6, 2025, aged 73. For fans, he'll always be Dennis, the boy next door who meant well but couldn't help but stir up trouble. For those who know his whole story, he's also a survivor who found a way to reclaim his life after fame.